So what if Minato was the Hokage during the Pain invasion of Konoha? I know this wouldn't make much sense in a story perspective, but it's just a fun scenario to think of. Let's assume everything that happened up until the arc begins and Pain invades remains the same, and the only thing that changes is that instead of Tsunade, Minato is the Hokage. The invasion would begin like it did in the original. The animal path would be thrown into the village and summon the other paths of Pain, and then they would scatter and start the mayhem. They would begin the attack as they did in the original, with 3 paths of Pain to distract and 3 paths of Pain to gather intel, and that's where the similarities would end. Unlike Tsunade, who played a complete support role during the invasion, providing healing to the Konoha ninjas and civilians, Minato would take an absolutely active role trying to bring down the paths of Pain as quickly as he can, exactly how he did when Obito attacked the village with a Kyuubi. As soon as the first explosions go off, Minato would immediately jump into action and go towards the threat to neutralize it. Minato would be very effective at that. Firstly, because he's extremely fast, duh. And also, I have no doubt in my mind that he would have several Flying Thunder God marks around the entire village for him to use in situations like this. He would use his teleportation marks and great speed to get to the sources of commotion very fast. He could also use shadow clones to go to several places at the same time and would easily reach the paths of Pain, causing the distractions. So when Minato gets to the paths of Pain, what would happen? Well, Minato would absolutely body them. A single path of Pain would be smashed like an ant by Minato, including the Diva path, might I add. Minato would easily be able to counter Shinra Tensei with the Flying Thunder God, and with his amazing speed prowess, he would be able to casually take down the Diva path during the cooldown of Shinra Tensei. Minato would be much more useful than Tsunade in the beginning of the invasion. If you think about it, Tsunade's healing was only being used to keep civilians and fodder ninjas from dying. I mean, you had one job, Tsunade. Her healing was not impactful in any of the confrontations with individual paths of Pain when the village was just being invaded. Furthermore, Minato would be by far the strongest ninja in the village during the invasion, so he would definitely tip the scales in Konoha's favor. But before we continue, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and if you enjoy content like this, ring the notification bell so you never miss anything. And like the video as well, just for good measure. So many things could happen in this scenario. There is a chance Minato just gets to every single path of Pain and kills them all, and ends the invasion right then and there. But in a more conservative scenario, I think Minato could easily dispose of at least 3 or 4 paths of Pain. A 1v1 battle against Minato is bad for everyone, but a single path of Pain would be absolutely destroyed. The paths could barely keep up with Sage Mode Naruto, so imagine Minato. That's why he would be able to take down so many paths early on. Things could go very differently depending on which paths Minato takes down in the beginning of the fight. If he takes down the Naraka path, he would really cripple Pain, as he wouldn't be able to bring back other paths. Also, if Minato takes down the Diva path, Pain's main source of firepower would be gone. So if these paths are taken down, I see Nagato just giving up and retreating, meaning that the damage to the village would be substantially lowered. If the Diva path isn't taken out and Nagato has some time to regroup, I think he would go for a catastrophic Shinra Tensei on Konoha when he sees things are going really bad against Minato. I don't know if Minato could stop the Shinra Tensei from happening, because as far as I know he can't fly. Maybe if he tossed a kunai really high up and teleported behind the Diva path midair, but I'm not sure if he can do that. Also, I don't see Minato having a counter against catastrophic Shinra Tensei once Tendo uses it. The only thing really he could do is teleport away, but the village would be hit by it. The damage would be far worse than in the original because Tsunade wouldn't be there to protect everyone with Katsuyu, so so many more people would die. Minato, however, would obviously survive. Minato would then engage the surviving paths of pain if Nagato didn't just choose to retreat using the chaos of the destruction of Konoha as a distraction. Now, regardless of how many paths of pain remained, even if pain brought back all 6 of them, if the Naraka path was still alive, Minato would still win a fight against pain. If you want to know more about this in an in-depth video of Minato versus Pain or Minato versus Nagato, comment down below so I can make that video in the future. After defeating all paths, Minato would most certainly go after Nagato's real location, just like Naruto did in the original. I am not even sure if Naruto would be summoned to the village in this alternate scenario because things just happened way faster than in the original because of Minato's speed and all that. And also, I think Minato would not want Naruto to go there. He would want to protect Naruto at all costs, so Naruto would probably not even be informed of the attack under Minato's orders. Anyway, Minato would eventually locate Nagato just like Naruto did in the original. He could probably use Sage Mode like Naruto did, or maybe use a sensorial type ninja from the village. But regardless of the method, he would eventually find Nagato. After all, Nagato was in no position to make a quick retreat and would need Konoha not to be looking after him to do so. So when Minato gets to Nagato, how would that encounter go? Now there's a chance Minato would be so pissed that he would just get in there and kill Nagato and Conan outright. He's a really chill dude, but he can be very savage sometimes. If that doesn't happen, however, Minato and Nagato would probably have a similar conversation to the one Naruto and Nagato had in the original. After all, Minato was also Jiraiya's student, so they would have that connection. The question is, would Minato be able to do the same thing Naruto did and change Nagato's mind, therefore prompting him to revive everyone in the village with Rin Rebirth? My guess is no. Naruto was probably the only character with charisma and the mindset to do that. Minato would most likely kill Nagato and Conan, maybe capture them, although I don't know if there is a safe way to restrain a guy that can use Shinra Tensei. Maybe you can use some sealing techniques to take care of him, just like they used on Sasuke after he was arrested, but that was only in the anime. The outcome of this what-if scenario is actually very strange. There is a high chance Minato just defeats Pain outright before the village sustains any further damage, which is by far the best scenario for Konoha. However, when that doesn't happen, things turn out much worse. Even though Minato has a far easier time defeating Pain after the village is destroyed than Naruto had, the outcome is much worse because many ninjas and civilians will remain dead without Rin Rebirth and Tsunade's protection. Of course that if for some reason Naruto was summoned back to the village, I am positive that Minato and him would be able to change Nagato's mind and successfully use Talk no Jutsu on him. But that's very debatable. Comment down below what you think would happen, and if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. Watch this other video right here for more Naruto content, and see you next time.